Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Underrail Expedition. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that it chose to join me today as we talk to the ferryman. And this time around, I will not ramble. And I'm sorry if you like it, but I ramble a lot. I'm sure nobody likes it. But seeing it as one ship seems kind of narrow-minded. And what it is not a ramble, I'm just contextualizing. This guy's crazy. He's crazy, and he's talking about things. It doesn't matter what it is. He says that we're on the ship. The front of the ship is going towards the center faster than the back of the ship, and we're weighed down by our burdens, and we don't know what death is and whatnot. It's just a bunch of nonsense, and I've been having a lot of fun. Let's see if I stop having fun when I stop rambling, because I will stop rambling. Anyway, as I was saying, seeing it as one ship seems kind of narrow-minded, even if it's just to illustrate the point. I think that we are on different ships instead, as some groups of people have sunk before us. This gives some of us the possibility to escape this fleet of sinking ships. That's highly optimistic of you, and a concept not without merit by any means. But however you look at it, as a ship, a fleet, as long as there is burden, we will continue to sink, and a sinking ship drags down everything around it, especially if it sinks fast enough. Well, those that are closer to the center than us, yes? Can you tell me more about them? As man partakes in reality and is drawn down by the spirit of gravity, he descends towards even lower levels along with, but sometimes also a vanguard of humanity. Sometimes whole groups can be this vanguard. Their burden sheds light on our own. Do they even know they are worse off? It depends on their burden. You cannot help those who won't help themselves. Helping them means carrying their burden yourself while they accumulate more of their own. Yet those who want to help themselves might drag you down in doing so, like a drowning man pulling both his rescuer and himself to a watery grave. And then there are the sinister ones, the wicked. The weight of men continues from many sources, or comes from many sources. Some we know intrinsically, but the rest can only be seen through the burden of others. But as I've said before, helping others with their burden will also help you, but it can also burden you further. You simply need to be wise. I suppose kindness to others somehow always comes back. I have no further comments. Do you consider money to be a burden? Is money a burden? For individuals, it depends. For humanity, indubitably. It's got physical weight, be it a coin or a plastic card. It's got weight, but this weight, this physical quantitative property, pales in comparison to the true weight that money can have. It is a lens through which humanity has quantified the values of everything, as everything can be expressed through it. Everything has a price. For the quantificate means to reduce the discrete magnitudes, and to reduce means to remove the qualities deemed unimportant. As humanity's higher values eroded... What? There's a missing something. As humanity's higher values are eroded, or were eroded, so they become quantified. Oh, it's just the past tense of eroded, not the, yeah. The higher values eroded over time. So did they become quantificated to this most profane material form. In fact, kid, this very burden is a large part of the erosion itself, the corruption. But I bet you live in a society. I only use it when I gotta, cause I gotta in the amount I gotta. Everything beyond that is a burden. Would you abolish it, given the chance? Whether I want to or not is irrelevant, as is the question of whether I could or couldn't. It is a sad part of humanity's imperfection. If money did not... It's not a sad part of humanity's imperfection. There were times where humanity didn't have money. There were times where money didn't work as the way it does right now in our real world. And also, money doesn't have weight, and I swear to God, I'm rambling again. If money did not exist, it would be necessary to invent it. It wouldn't. I mean, you can think it would be, but it wouldn't. It just wouldn't. And the best, and especially in a world like Underrail, I'm rambling again, but I'll ramble about this one. especially in a world like Underrail, money doesn't actually need to exist. It exists because it's a video game. Because if you start thinking about it a whole lot, it just creates a problem. And I'm not talking about the historical reason for money to exist, and more importantly, that's a lot more important than the reasons for it to exist. The reasons for its continued existence, those are the real important reasons for anything that exists in our society, but for money in particular. In a society like the one of Underrail that is very isolated, it's very easy for communities to live as families or extended families, which is actually how a large part of Europe lived for a long while in the periods at around the first millennium BC, and even throughout the first millennium CE. I say large parts of Europe. I do know that Central Europe is a lot like Portugal was, and obviously it wasn't Portugal back then. The lands here, because those were the ones I studied, because I majored in archaeology, so I had to study about a bunch of what we know over their society. And basically, they were sort of isolated, and they had their own, villages, for lack of a better term, although they were semi-nomadic for a large part. And by semi-nomadic, I mean they lived in two different places, depending on what time of year it was. Depends on what year we're talking about, but for a long time it was like that. And they traded. There was trade, and there's proof of trade. Actually, there's proof of trade. I think 10,000 years in the past. Like something. I'm not naming specific dates, but there is proof of like trading happening very, very early on in the sedimentarism of our civilization, or of humanity, I should say. But if you just think of a village as an extended family, and if you think of yourself and if you live with a family, or like you grew up in a family, you didn't really, deal with money inside the family, or you didn't. Hopefully you didn't, and if you did, I'm sorry. I am legitimately sorry, but I know there's families like that, and it's in my opinion, it's a pain, but maybe it isn't, and hopefully it wasn't if that was your case. But the point is, families can work without money, and extended families can work without money, because there's understandings, and it's just it's the society becoming bigger and bigger that sort of requires this quantification that he's referring to. He's having a very ingenuous, not ingenuous, that's not the word, disingenuous is the word in English. He's having a very disingenuous understanding of what money actually is, so he's not actually making a critique of value, which is an amazing thing to discuss. I'm not going to ramble about that one in particular, but the understanding of the value of things is a very important and fundamental point of the definition of any society, because what we value sort of makes up who we are as people, as individuals, but also as a society, and that's what we're sort of talking about here more than anything. So for him to say that money would have to be invented, doesn't even make sense, because money is not an invention. It's like time. Look at that. Time. It's an illusion. Money is an illusion. No, money is a definition. We can have two different societies that have no contact with each other, and one of them has denaries and dinaries. I'm not referring to the Game of Thrones character. One of them has dinaries, and the other ones has scutos or whatever. I don't know what different names you can call different coins, and use them in wildly different contexts and for wildly different things, and them having wildly different value, and they value things wildly different, so they effectively are nothing at all the same in regards to how practically they're used, the denari and the scuto here that I was proposing in these two different societies that I'm making up on the spot, but we still call them both money. And the reason why we call them both money is because they fit our definition, our current sort of English definition of money. Because I bet there's languages that have two different I bet there's languages that have different, like 2 or 3 different words for this concept where they work slightly different. But of course, I'm not a linguist, and that's one of the reasons why linguistics it's such an amazing field, is because you get to learn about all these little nuances and things that you took for granted. It turns out it's just how your language works, and you just didn't think that money could be something else, and yeah, all of a sudden you find this country that has 2 words for money, and they're slightly different depending on the context, and you're like, what? And I'm not talking from experience, but I am talking from experience, from finding 2 different words for the same thing that I maybe took for granted, not necessarily money. But the point is, money isn't invented. The scuto and the dinari is, but it takes us as modern day English speakers to arrive and look at the societies and say, oh, you have money over there, and they're gonna call you, just go away because you're bothering me. But you know what I mean. Anyway, rambles. I swear I can't do it, but it's important. I feel that it's important. I think money is pure evil. Now that's an interesting that's a sort of a not colloquialism. What's the word? Commonplace criticism or just understanding of what money is. The money is the root of all things, I think, is the commonplace sentence that you'll hear, and that's the thing that I was talking about before. And I think it's funny that I think it's good, not funny. It's good that he mentioned specifically the way we value things, because that's the real reason why money is the root of all the root of all evil. It's not really money; it's the way we think of value that is a problem. And that's when you really need to start considering that's when you really need to start considering the reasons as to why money continues existing in our society after it has been instituted in society for millennia now, through in different forms and with very different applications, and even being usable by very different groups of people. In modern day, obviously being usable by pretty much everybody. Anybody can use money, but that wasn't always the case, and certainly isn't always the case even in today's world, because of laws and whatnot. Or just judges deciding that you can't buy anything, you have all of your assets frozen, you shall be in jail or something. Anyway, the point is, it isn't the money that is evil, it's the reasons why money exists that are evil, or that money continues existing. But not in this setting. In this setting, money doesn't have any problems. You don't see exploitation of people, but through the maximization of the inequality in the distribution of money. You don't see that, for example. You don't see the unequal distribution of labor based on who has money and who doesn't. You do see like practical differences in the way people live. There's some outposts living out in the middle of the boonies that are just less, I guess, safe and less comfortable and whatnot, because they don't have access to as many resources. But money is never raised as a problem, so it really isn't, like, this setting does not have the problems that we as real life people have when it comes to money and to money existing in our society. Like, for example, if you were to apply, or if this was a real life situation, the expedition that we were doing here would be looking for maximizing profit, and would be doing it for the same reasons that Europeans went out and settled lands across the sea and down in Africa and then Asia and whatnot. That's the profit motive, and again, it's not even necessarily money, because they didn't bring money over. They brought things to sell for money, or to make, to have money with. So it's the profit motive. That's one of the reasons why you can have problems. But this society doesn't, which is very quaint and nice. How lovely of Underrail to not have problems due to the profit motive. Thank you, Underrail. It allows us to, what's the word? There's a word for it. Escape reality. That's the one. Escapism. That's what we like in video games, and that's what we like in YouTube Let's Plays, where I don't suddenly start rambling. I'm sorry. I have been rambling all over. It's not sudden. I know. Anyway. All these are not blasé, but just flat out Wrong. Can you imagine? We can't live without money. Yeah. No? Okay. I mean... Like, literally we can in this game, but also you just need to think a little bit about that whole thing about the family and extended family thing not needing money to work within itself. Let's see what we have. I work hard and get paid. Well, that's a reasonable demand to ask. If you work, you get paid. That's supposed... That money represents my blood and my sweat, and for that, I think I deserve something. That's good enough. Let's go with that. I suppose that's... you know, even though it's simplified and at the end of the day misguided, it's at least... Well, it's not necessarily misguided, but what I mean is, you know, the heart... You got your heart in the right place, Carrie. Good job. You did it good. You did it good. You, he says. It's all about you, kid. No, it's not. It's really not. And also, that's also that's a commonplace misunderstanding of people who say, I work, I want my money. Because, you know, that just reminds me of people trying to, you know, get artists to work for exposure, or bosses not giving you a raise. It's all about you and whatnot. No, it's about everybody else. I would give up my... Let me tell you this right now, amazing viewer. Let me tell you this right now. I was gonna say I would give up all of my salary forever and never earn money again, ever again. If everybody in the world could get their fair share from their work, I would do that. Obviously, I would do that. There's so many people who don't get their fair share, or any share at all from their work. So many people, and I would get by. I don't need money. I'll mooch off of all the people that would be actually well off around me, because they would also be getting their fair share. I would probably sacrifice even more for an amazing. Can you imagine how amazing the world would be if everybody got their fair share from their work? So no, it's not all about me. It's all about everybody else. When you defend a status quo, or not a status quo, but a state of... What is the... Status quo is sort of... State of things? No, that's not what it is. When you defend a state of things where everybody gets their fair share, you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about everybody else, because they... Like, it's just... Yes. But this guy's an idiot. As we know, because he's... we know he's an idiot. And also I'm an idiot. Because I shouldn't be rambling. That is a burden in and of itself, a fertile ground for the seeds of coin to take root in and corrupt. He puffs smoke. Okay. Passage of time. True death. Yeah, he talked about this already. Burden. It's all against. I need to take a break. Man, that was... What have I gotten myself into? That crane of yours. What about it? I'm guessing you're using it for scavenging stuff out of the sea? Yeah. And generally lifting stuff in and out of the boat. Looks pretty powerful. Because it is. You got something in mind, kid? Yeah, I need some naval mines moved to the expedition camp. Live mines? I think so. That's dangerous, kid. Real dangerous. I know. They're necessary to protect the expedition. They're gonna be deployed around the island, aren't they? Mines know no friends, kid. They'll be yeah, aren't they? Yeah, they are. They're prohibited. They're not. I mean, in our real world, not in this one, obviously, but they're war crime. I think. I'm pretty. Is it a war crime? Anyway, there's like international treaties that prohibit certain weapons, certain types of weapons, and I think it's either only anti-personnel mines or all kinds of mines are prohibited. I'm not sure. Or, you know, countries agreed that they wouldn't use it. They'll be a danger to every ship in the Black Sea, including this one. Yeah, your ship is hardly safer as it is when a fight breaks out, with all the projectiles flying about. Besides, the mines have a potential of acting as a strong deterrent, in which case the waters will become a lot safer, don't you think? So, Stormbringers, Serpentborn, I believe, cannot be deterred, kid. They can't. But there's no way out of this. No way, I guess. Yeah, I can't choose anything. Fine, I'll ferry the mines. But under these conditions, someone else is going to do the muscle work, because I ain't busting my back. I ferry them to the camp and I'm done. Got it? And lastly, it'll cost. 700 Charons. Oh, that's easy. 700 is nothing. It's a dangerous job, but we're tight on resources. I'm gonna go with it, but this is super hypocritical after I just said that I want, you know, my fair share for my work. I'm just immediately denying him of his fair share for his work. He doesn't go for it. Sure, 700. Fine. He walks to his cabin and does a bunch of things. Frequencies 22, again 22 megahertz. Got to go to those mines and call me from there. Make sure you got the coin ready and make sure the area is clear. I don't want anything sneaking up on me. You got it? How old is that thing? Old, but it gets the job done. He's talking about the. I was talking about the radio. Do you have any spare tobacco or cigarettes or cigars? Tobacco is hard to come by down here in the south. Much too few hydroponic farms down here. The few sources I have are irregular, to say the least. I've got nothing to spare, kid. Donnie Merchant on the Grim Jetters has a cigar or two occasionally, but I'm pretty sure he keeps those for special customers only. What's the heaviest this crane can lift? The crane is technically overpowered for this boat, as I don't have enough counterweight to use it to its full potential. Regardless of that, lifting a, let's say, 10 to 15 ton load is generally safe if it's done close to the boat. Well, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks. Well, I guess that's that. We have all the ramble. That's done. The ramble is complete. We got a relatively decent regenerative biohazard, or rather, regenerative vest over here. I could buy it. Lifting. I don't really have anything to sell, unfortunately. I can pay for it though, so it's not a problem. Some bandages, I'll get those, because they are relatively light. Not really actually, but they're relatively cheap though. Got some high quality black cloth up there. Visors are really... I need to be on the lookout for these because I might have trouble buying them. But later on when we make more. But for right now, I think we're good. Some antidotes. Shield capacitor. Temporal manipulate. Some of these things are important for me later, but I think we're good. I didn't find anything that was important. Where's my bike? I swear I marked it. I think I know where it is. Don't worry about it. I do worry about it. I worried about it a lot. Also, we could have landed over here. Why didn't I do that? Well. Come on. Enter key. I'm rusty. Let's see what we have. We are done with combat. Curious. Did we kill everybody? Got snake teeth necklace. It's likely that I did. But I don't remember if I fled. No, there's a dome up there. What is this? Intimidation, side regeneration. Yeah. I see remains. I see a lot of them. We have smoldering blindfold. 1 out of 1. This blindfold is too hot to be worn long, but when you endure to put it on for a moment, it turns your skin pitch dark beyond anything a normal cloth could do. Soon the blindfold will burn away. And we leveled up. That is great. We also have a black blade that carves a living it increases intimidation. I'll take it. Not because of the intimidation, mind you, but because of the price. That was the boss, I bet. I think a black blade is it's a thing that exists elsewhere in the game. Hi. Oh boy. Can I kill you there? I might. Okay. Oh, it's not gonna work very well. Let's wait. Did I get whatever was in the pot? I think it was just a little bit of milk. And we got some more stuff. I really don't know where they're coming from. I think they're not, I don't know that they have access through here. I imagine they do, but I can't, like, see where it would do. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you there. Okay. Good. Hopefully you'll burn to a crisp. It's a lot of damage that's being done. So I imagine that's gonna work. These seashells don't have anything. I mean, we might be in trouble. There's a Kringsvar coming. You know, hide over here. Idiot. Idiot. Hello. How do you do? You will not die. I mean, you will if I do this. Nope, I guess I don't. That might be too far. Oh, no, that is not too far. Because the freezing and whatnot. Okay, let's try this. Please don't miss. It didn't. Okay. So that's 2 hits there. Oh, I can do this. Let's see if there's anybody else back there. There is not anybody else back there. Oh. I sort of forgot about that particular detail. This works. Yes. Fear is not a thing that they're susceptible to. But fire? Oh, they are susceptible to fire, alright. And we're also susceptible to running out of time for the day. So for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Underrail Expedition. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.